Okay. My favorite villain in all of pop culture comic world is Harley Quinn. That's her poster behind me. The Bombshells poster, you might have seen it a couple times. Now, Harley Quinn started out as the Joker's hench girl on the animated series. The episode aired on September 11th, 1992. Back then, September 11th was a regular day. And they had a girl in a costume looking like a jester, and she was supposed to make an appearance and say a couple lines, be cutesy poo. Then they say, you know what, let's bring her back again. Then let's bring her back again. And then she got so popular, she became a series regular, and they gave her a backstory. Now, she started out because they wanted to have a character just to accompany the Joker as a female henchwoman. It's like that, henchwoman. Female henchwoman. Henchwoman. And the producer of the show, remember his friend Arlene Sorkin, years earlier had been in a soap opera, and you know how stupid these friggin' soap opera shows are. And in the soap opera, there's a dream, and in the dream, her character is dressed up as a clown. And that's what they based the character on. Okay, this has got to be the stupidest fluke in all history. Okay, a stupid soap opera in the 80s literally inspired one of the most famous comic villains post 1970. Now, her backstory was revealed in a comic book and in the animated series Volume 4, the DVD series Volume 4. In fact, I have here a special edition. I actually have to put this in a manila envelope because it doesn't fit in the comic bag. The hardcover edition. There's a couple other stories in there aside from this. It's called Mad Love. And there's other stories in here. A couple of stories. Very, very nice volume. I'm glad I got this. Now, her backstory is she was a college gymnast, and she was a gymnast. She had a college scholarship for Gotham University in most incarnations. And in the book they say it, but not in the cartoon obviously, that she slept with a couple of her professors to get better grades. And she became a psychiatrist. Now, a psychiatrist has a PhD in psychology, and they have a medical doctorate on top of that, psychiatrist. And they can prescribe medication to treat physical problems as well as psychological problems. Okay, and she's roughly, they never say exactly, but you assume she's about 30 when it happens, because psychiatrists go through a lot of schooling. Okay, the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, the PhD program, that alone could take, but they might be 25 or 26 if they complete that stuff. And then the medical degree on top of that. And she went to do her residency at Arkham Insane Asylum, and she had a particular interest in studying the costumed villains, the villains that often clash with Batman. And she had a particular fascination with the Joker, and the Joker is considered the greatest villain in all of fiction, not in comic books, in all of fiction. Okay, Darth Vader, Hannibal Lecter, okay, Gollum, okay, you could look at any literary villain, the Joker is considered the worst. He's the ultimate villain. Okay, and she decides to study him. Now, while she's studying him, he takes her sympathies. And he tells her a million stories. And he has 10 main stories about abusive father, alcoholic father, neglectful mother, going to the circus, going to the ice show, there's a million different stories he tells in a million different ways. And he convinces her that he's not the craziest psychopath in the world, just that he's misunderstood. And in her own way, she falls for him hook, line, and sinker, complete brainwashing, and he actually tricks her. He comes out and says it, I need to get out of here. And she throws away all of her degrees, she throws away all of her licenses, all of her security clearances, and she breaks him out of the institution. Now, in her earliest incarnations, she puts on the costume and makeup to sort of appear as his wife, or as an accomplice to him. But in later incarnations, he either threw her into a vat of acid or talked her into jumping into the vat of acid so that her skin is bleached white like his. And if you see the movie Suicide Squad, that's what happens. Now, as far as the movie Suicide Squad is concerned, there's a comic book series where you have a government agent who is a total manipulator. She's worse than any villain. And she has to do covert operations. And she has an excellent special forces operator named Rick Flag. Yeah, I know his name, Rick Flag. And she convinces the special forces operator to go on dangerous missions, but because he'll never get any volunteers, she literally goes to Arkham Asylum and Belle Reve Prison, and she convinces the Flash villains and the Batman villains to work for her undercover or covertly or whatever the hell, to do whatever she wants to do, rescue this person, defuse this terrorist attack, whatever it may be. And in exchange, they get leniency, they get extra privileges, they get time shaved their sentences, and Harley Quinn is often recruited to be with them, and that's where she comes into the movie. They make a deal with her saying, well, and they put tracking devices in their body, like usually in the neck or whatever, whereas if they escape or if they rebel, the tracking device can be used to kill them. A little far-fetched, but you know what it is, it's funny. Now, the reason why she's so fascinating to me personally is because she is the comic book's answer to the Manson family. The Joker is like Charles Manson. Okay? He has no problems killing people. He has no problems telling other people to do what he wants. He often does things without any rhyme or reason. Okay? If you saw the Heath Ledger movie, he set fire to his own money. Okay? He's often portrayed as someone that just wants to do things. He doesn't care who, why, what, how, just do whatever the fuck he wants. And that is very, very similar to Charles Manson. Because if you've ever studied the Manson family, Charles Manson thought he was a Jesus figure, okay, thought that there was going to be a race war, thought that he was going to convince the whites and blacks to kill each other, the blacks would win the race war, the blacks would be too stupid to do anything because they're so, in his mind they were subhuman, and the blacks would ask Charles Manson, the last surviving white man, to help them to rule the world. Okay? And he went out and helped girls commit murders, hoping that blacks would be blamed, hoping that blacks and whites would fight so that he could rule the world. Okay, now obviously that line of thinking is not how we think, obviously. And that is in a way how the Joker feels. The Joker will do things like that because he wants to. And where she comes in is, if you look at the Manson girls, I don't know how many Manson girls were psychiatrists. They were mostly in the late teens, early 20s, at most mid-20s. But the Manson girls came from rich families, straight A students, cheerleaders, prom queens. Okay, they had the world by the tail, and they threw their entire life away to be with Charles Manson, and they went to prison for him. Now, if someone is sentenced to death, like the Manson family, there's two sentences in the death penalty phase. Okay, they have the trial and the jury convicts them. That's the first phase, and the jury hangs around a little bit, and they go to the death penalty phase. And at the death penalty phase, the prosecutor tells the jury the defendant should be put to death because of how heinous the crimes were. And the defendant is allowed any witness he wants. If you saw Ted Bundy, he called his mother to stand. Okay? They're allowed their priest. They're allowed their mother. They're allowed their child therapist. They're allowed the little lady next door to that when they were growing up. Okay? They're allowed to call anybody they want to ask the jury for mercy. And the jury deliberates again, and the jury says, we recommend life without parole, or we recommend death. Now, Charles Manson, after the conviction had already been secured, the girls, when they did their little phase of why we should not die, this is a fruitless effort, but the girls went up and they said in court, Charlie is innocent. We did it all by ourselves. It's our fault, not his. Okay, and they were actually testifying against themselves. They were trying to put the blame on themselves. And Vincent Bugliosi, the prosecutor, in a very, 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 very rare thing for the prosecutor to talk to the defendant, Vince Bugliosi said, Charlie, these girls are willing to go to the gas chamber to protect you. He said, I know that. I'm the most selfless person in the world. I tell them that all the time. Joker is the type of guy where even though he thinks he loves her, if push comes to shove, he'll throw her under the bus in 2 seconds flat. In one episode of the animated series, he was going to detonate a bomb and blow up Gotham City. And she was in Arkham Asylum, and they actually got her out of Arkham Asylum to help Batman track him down. And when they track the Joker down, Harley decides that she's not going to help Batman anymore, she's going to go with the Joker. And Dick Grayson Robin says, gee, Harley, it's a good thing you're here. Joker didn't have enough time to get to Arkham to pick you up before the bomb went off. He was going to set a fucking bomb off for Gotham City, and he didn't give a fuck if it hit the asylum where she was in. There was another episode where they mentioned this. She escaped Arkham, and he ratted her out in order to get better privileges for himself, or maybe time off, or okay. He wanted to get a better deal for himself. He ratted her out. He told where the hideouts were to get, and he didn't give a fuck. So there have been many times where he'll just say flat out, okay, it's only one of us, so I'm gonna pick me. And there's actually one episode, the Mad Love episode, and you see it in the book, and you see it in the TV show. He actually throws her out a fucking window, and she goes flying down 2 stories, crashes into freaking garbage, and she ends up being paralyzed. He gets away, she gets captured, she's wheeled into the friggin' hospital ward with multiple broken bones, and he mails her a fucking flower. She's like, I love him. So she is the embodiment of psychopaths. It's not the least bit uncommon for her to kill someone. They've often said that she'll kill faster than he will. They've often said she's crazier than he is. And in the comic book series, the second Robin, there's been like 6 different Robins. The Jason Todd Robin was killed by the Joker. She came into play years later. And in the movie series, they're sort of mixing up a little bit, and they mention it in the movie series that she helped the Joker kill Robin. And I walked into the movie theater expecting that to be mentioned. And I walked out like, what the fuck happened? These geeks on YouTube that analyze every television show, every movie, every comic book, every story, they analyzed everything. They got the screenshots here, the screenshots there, and plain as fucking day, in her file, there's her criminal record. There's a sentence out of her criminal record that is highlighted by the movie people and flashes across the screen. She was involved in killing Robin Doe. Now, in addition to the book that I showed you, there's several other books here. This book series was a comic book based on the animated series. I actually bought this for $1.25 in October of '92. A month after Harley Quinn appeared on television, this book came to the newsstands. These are comic books that take place in the animated universe series. Okay? And they're drawn in the style of the animated series. And a couple of years later, in September '93, a year after appearing on the television show, she appeared in this comic book. This is her first appearance right here. I paid $200 for this. It's now worth between $600 and $800. I did good, didn't I? Okay. Then they decided to put her in the main DC comic book canon. And this book here is her introduction into the main comic book canon. And the artist here, Paul Dini, if you'll notice, he's doing the Joker. Tell me that's not Jack Nicholson's Joker. Then I'm trying to get a hold of her Volume 1. I actually bought this first book here last October when I saved the baby's life. It was a father, his wife, and the father had the baby carriage. Ladies, you push the fucking baby carriage, please, okay? The father was standing next to the curb with the baby carriage. And there's a delivery truck for the furniture store. And the delivery truck is parked on the street he's parked in by a fire hydrant, but parking authority lets delivery trucks park by the fire hydrant so long as the driver is within 10 feet of the vehicle in case the fire department comes, they can move it. And the delivery truck sees that I'm having a hard time. I'm used to it. I was doing it yesterday with a fucking Euro truck all day. Okay? All afternoon I had a Euro truck. The truck is parked at the corner, and I gotta stand right in front of it and peek around. And the delivery truck said, you know what? I'll move the truck for you. He gets in the truck, starts the engine. He's coming around the corner. They also do this. He turns the corner, and he deliberately jumps on the sidewalk. Now, a lot of times the truck will turn the corner and hit the sidewalk, and I gotta get the hell back. This father's standing there with the baby carriage like this. And I know the truck driver's coming. So I tell the father, you get back now. And the delivery truck is coming. And as the delivery truck comes, he jumps on the sidewalk and pulls the truck on the sidewalk. So he's literally on the sidewalk. Guess what? The tire ran where the baby carriage was. He would have ran the baby carriage over the baby too. But because he told me that he was coming, I knew to get it back. And to reward myself, I bought this book. This is her first book in her own series. And then you got book 2. Book 2. Book 7. Yeah, I'm trying to fill these in. There's 38 books in all. Book 7. Book 21. Book 27, and book 35. There's 38 books in all. I'm trying to get all of them. I'll get them all, not a big deal. Just a couple at a time. So that is the detail on her. These go in a different box. My letter opener just fell. Okay. So that is the detail on her. And if you look at my choice of villain and my choice of hero, literally 100%, no questions asked, complete opposites. From publishing company to gender to education, complete opposites. Okay, thank you.